Altoids tin or any other small container can be used for a variety of purposes. Some people like to use them as a small emergency kit, but I think a great purpose is to have a small container that is for a dedicated purpose, such as fire starting, which is what this one is. This keeps everything you need in one location as a go-to kit for fire starting. Of course, you also want redundancy by having another backup fire starter, such as a lighter or ferro rod. But the importance of fire cannot be overemphasized. It's a source of light, warmth, can be used for boiling water, cooking, signaling, and is a great morale booster. Kit should focus primarily on ignition sources and some tinder. Here's what I have in mind. Opening it with a small boot blouser that was securing it, and a couple items inside, some of which are not necessarily for fire starting, just little added extras. Okay, so the ignition source to me is the most important, since this is the hardest thing to duplicate in nature. I think you should have at least two means to start fire, and there are pros and cons to the different items you can use. The most convenient, of course, is the typical disposable lighter. Also convenient would be matches. Waterproof would be preferred, but ordinary matches can be made waterproof by dipping them in wax or clear nail polish. The emergency backup items would be a ferro rod by itself or in a magnesium stick. Also, you have the magnifying lens. To cover the spectrum of situations, I think a lighter, ferro rod, and magnifying lens are the three items to have. Again, the lighter is the most convenient and easy to use, but eventually it can be damaged or run out of fuel. Ferro rods are great. They're not difficult to use, but does take a little time. Eventually, after a couple hundred or 1,000 strikes, it'll get used up. But would you ever really need it to last that long? The magnifying lens is really long-term backup. Can only be used with good sunlight, but it will never run out unless it gets damaged. I'll put Amazon links in the description box for the small ferro rods here and the magnifying lens. I bought 12 of the magnifying lenses for about $7.25 and 10 of the ferro rods for, I think it was about $9.89 or so. These rods are perfect fit for a small tin. They're 3 inches by 0.18 inch. For ferro rods, I'm going to use the larger ones I carry, but I think these are really great for emergency backup ones. For tinder, you can use anything. Can be cotton balls like this, dryer lint, jute twine, or store-bought starters. Many other things can get a fire started, such as small pieces of cloth or steel wool. But if you're using anything of wax, like candle or crown, I suggest putting it in a small bag since it can melt. Outside of this small box, of course, to make fire, you need kindling and fuel. Kindling are the small sources of wood that burn until the fuel catches fire well, small twigs, bark, things like that. And the fuel are the logs, the pieces of wood that provide the actual fire. Of course, in here, there's many other things you can put in the kit to assist to make the fire. A pencil sharpener to get some shavings from twigs. A razor blade, which I have in there to make some feather sticks if somehow you don't have a knife. And of course, you can throw in other items to make it more of a survival kit, as many people do. All just depends on your needs for the kit. But the best fire starting kit is the one you have with you when you need it. Once completed, you can use a boot blouser like I have there, elastic bands, or even duct tape to keep it closed. I recently purchased this item, which I might even wrap the kit with. I thought it was really interesting. It's made by Titan and called Survivor Cord. It's 3/16 inches in diameter, which is slightly thicker than paracord, because in addition to the standard 7 strands, includes a 25-pound test fishing line, wax jute as a fire starter, and multi-purpose snare wire. So here's a little cutout of the extra things that you receive inside of it. But the biggest benefit I found from this, since it has the extra 3 strands, is the price. It cost in July 2017, 100 foot was $24 on Amazon. But I'd seen paracord that was similar, called Fire Cord, which had the standard 7 strands, but it had 1 extra strand of a fire starter. But that cost $40 for 100 feet. So when I saw this on Amazon for $24, I decided it'd be perfect to pick up for that price. This is the first of many videos I'll be doing on various topics. I'd ask that you like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll be doing future videos in the near future.